Eureka. All fuel pumps are on, weight on wheels, and transponder on standby. As I say, we keep that in the checks, mainly because this can have weather radar installed. We don't want to fry the crew. Honestly, we don't put enough weight on our wheels to activate it anyway, so we have to do it manually. So now, both all thrust levers back to idle, back to zero thrust. That's to slow it down till it gets below 35 knots. You all remember that number from yesterday? And then while it's slowing down, you go full mixture, full RPM. And as soon as it gets below 35, then you swivel the aft engine down. So now it's in takeoff and landing configuration. You can see if you look at the back of the airship on the IDS, you can see that the aft engine is swiveled down, and you'll see how the pitch is changing. You see how the engine is going up and it's going down. That's because obviously the side stick is changing the pitch on the propeller. So that propeller is moving around. So obviously we don't have to do anything with thrust because the side stick's controlling it. That's why it's back at zero thrust, because it's no longer doing anything. That thrust lever is immaterial now. It's not doing anything at all. So you see how he's playing with the swivels and the thrust levers, you see? So he's got you can check where the engines are. He's got the 42 forward, not all the way up. And he's just adding the thrust just to control the rate of descent, because we're still heavy. So you see, he's just changing the thrust. As we come in, it's very light winds today. So he's going to slow the ship down early right now. We have 13 knots. Which is good. Well, obviously we're very careful coming past this hangar. We don't do it too low and too slow. So you see he's brought the engines further up. That's to help slow it down. Okay. And you also get the best lift when it's at 90 degrees. So if you're really heavy, you keep it right at 90, because that's going to give you the best lift. Otherwise the thrust is going in two directions. So he's bringing it all the way back, it's back past 90, to slow it down. Adding some extra thrust because the ship's still descending. So you can see it's the constant playing with the swivels and the thrust. So the swivels changing which direction the thrust is going and how much you need based on those forward thrust levers. Back to 90. Ground speed now 6 knots. So it's slowing down nicely. Obviously we don't want to run the crew over.
Are they ever scattered in time?
Hopefully not, because if they do, it means we've done a really bad job.
Well, I don't know.
So he's going all the way back to 120. You see that as he's bringing the levers back to 120 degrees, and that's because we've still got some forward movement and he's trying to slow it down. We're still descending, adding more thrust. And the crew chief is telling us how far we are off the ground. It gives it in meters. 2 meters, 1.5, 1.5, contact. Okay? And when you're on the ground, you've got to remember you're holding the ship into the wind all the time on the ground. No such thing as a crosswind. So you have to continue to hold position. Now he's putting the tail wheel down. So the crew chief is giving 1.5. We're just about in contact with the ground. There we go, contact. You put the tail wheel down nice and gently. So you see, if we land in that direction, we're already around in this direction. That's normal for an airship. But, you know, sometimes you land in one direction, you sit in that one direction, and sometimes the wind's shifting around. I've actually landed in a circle before. So the wind is just changing right now, and you just feel it. As soon as the ship starts to go sideways, correct it. When you're on the ground, thrust back to idle. As soon as you touch down, thrust back to idle, vectors down, as long as you're heavy, which we're going to be today. And then obviously when you're ready to take off, you vector them back up again, and get ready to lift off. And you do have to watch your pitch on takeoff. So obviously you've got that tail wheel. If you take off and leave your tail on the ground, it's not going to help. So we actually take off slightly nose down.
Like a helicopter.
A little odd, I know, but yeah, as we lift off, we just level it out slightly nose down, and then we climb away. As we're building up the speed, then we climb away. So as he's coming up, you build up speed, bring the vector slowly down as long as you're climbing, and as soon as it gets to 20, swivel the aft engine up, all the way up. Now watch on the IDS for the aft engine to be up. As soon as it is up, add the thrust on it. And then you can reduce the RPM. And set it up for cruise. So we reduce the RPM about 1950, 1960 is the lowest you want to go without the government struggle. They don't like it much below that. And that will give you, between 35 38 knots.
This is 20 degrees.
We're going.
Good. Okay.
So that's watch the pressure. Maximum rate of climb is limited by what?
We had like a solid time.
How much of a transfer?
How much air we can dump out.
So maybe
Maximum rate of climb.
flat.
Maximum rate of descent is determined by how much air we can put back in. It's nothing to do with performance, the engines, or anything else.
No, it's not time over distance or land.
It's the pressure.
The next thing is maximum rate of descent. But first we climb a little.
Seatbelt on.
Seatbelt on.
Nah, that's good. I'm just choosing to because I don't want to end up there.
Hey, when I see one of the pilots buckle up, I'm going to do it.
That's a 201 class.
And it's good enough for them. It's good enough for me.
That's yeah. Obviously, like trying to hold on, hanging at the seat. It's much more comfortable to have the seatbelt holding your head. I don't have to think about it.
No. Here. Welcome back.
Down, back, up, and turn.
So now we will accelerate to 50 knots and we will slow her down in a right turn.